And so to have that happen, we need the Lord's blessing. So let's have a word of prayer before we get started. Father, we thank you for your goodness to us and your love for us, and we thank you for the place that you've called us to be at this time. And Lord, just ask that we would allow you to bless us with all the blessings you have for us this last few weeks. Lord, that we would be open to you and to your Spirit for all that you have for us. Lord, we ask that we would, again, like I said, it would be very growing and enjoyable. And Lord, that, again, that we could be a witness to all those that are around us also. So, Father, we thank you for this time today. I think for the parents taking that time to be here and just to ask your blessing on this time that we have together. And we pray it in your precious holy name. Amen. Well, I wanted to start with something that I think, parents, you don't have a copy of, but Mr. Clay's going to get that for us here, and that's the senior schedule. And I know we've sent one already home, and we'll get you another copy. And I want to mention that because it's just really important. It's important that everybody knows all the times. You're supposed to get a copy of this, please. On the schedule, it's very important that everybody be on time and be to everything. And so we put this out again right after the first of the year, so that you would have a copy of that and know all these things. So I'm going to start with May 2nd and look at the last 3 weeks just really briefly. You say, well, you don't have to read it to us. It's all there. I say, I know. I appreciate that you can read. But I still want to call your attention to it. And the first one is May 2nd, which is no school for seniors. I know. It's important to be on time, and that way you don't disrupt the meeting. So now that is a kind of a carryover for when we used to do the senior trip earlier. And we did it earlier, and then there was some free days and all that. And so we tried to carry on those days later. So, but it is a privilege, meaning that if you don't have your stuff done, if you're not where you need to be, if you don't have stuff turned in and all that, you need to stay. And that's really going to be annoying to have to come those days. So, but please take care of any obligations you have, whether it's classroom or whether it's a uniform or whatever it has to be, because you really, believe me, you get annoyed when you have to stay those days that are off for you. We give those days off, again, for several reasons. One of them is hopefully you can use them to do whatever studying you have, do catch up, get ready for this, and it not be quite so stressful. We know it's stressful. We appreciate that. That's why we do that. Then we go to the 3rd, and we got the SNL celebration breakfast. Hopefully you can be part of that. And we have our first graduation practice. Graduation practices or baccalaureate practices, either one, you always bring your cap and gown. Every time. You say, well, I don't know why I need to. It's because we ask you to. So it is important. It makes a difference how you practice. And so we ask that you bring them. Well, what if I don't? Don't. It's just bring them, okay? And then we don't have to ask that question. So whatever you need to do to get that here, for that, please do that every time there's a practice. Then Friday we come, final payments are due, journal assembly, that's great stuff. And Saturday, Sunday and then is baccalaureate. And that is a time really that is dedicated to the Lord, that we take time out and say, you know what, I'm graduating, but you know what, Lord, you receive the honor for these things. And so we take out just a little bit of time to do that. And so I believe you will enjoy that. Okay, so, and again, that's a cap and gown thing. It's also the formal class picture. We take that's the picture, and everybody's in that and all those things. So if you can't be here for some reason, you need to tell me. You know, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would be, but if you're not going to be here, you need to tell me that ahead of time, because I have this. It's really precise, the picture, and everybody's in the right place, and heights and numbers and all that. And so it takes a while to plan that. And if you just can't be here for some reason, which again, I'm not sure what that would be, because we're really not accepting any reasons, except it's really serious. So please let me know, okay? That should only last really an hour, hour and a half at the most. If you have other things you need to do, then you can plan on that. Monday's regular schedule, full day. You can see the finals you have, and band concert that night. And then Tuesday's another full day. Wednesday, of course, is a half day. You have your last two finals in philosophy and English. That's fun. And then that's 0 day. And I really shouldn't even be having to talk about 0 day with you guys. But if you have zeros, get them in. I've told the teachers, it's like, I don't want any senior to fail. We don't want any senior to fail. But if they do, they do. Because at that point, you've chosen to. So please, we don't want that to happen. We want everybody to walk. So we've got 60, and we want 60 to walk. So please. And you know what? While I'm there, you know, some people may need some help. You say, well, I'm in good shape. Well, maybe somebody else isn't. Maybe somebody's got an outside course that they really could use your help on. Or somebody's trying to, I don't know, do what? Get some work that they missed while they were sick done or something, and they need some help. Whether that's, you know, to help them study for something, or maybe it's just to kick them into doing it. Whichever it is, that may be what you need to do, is to help them with that. So please don't let that go if that's something you need to do. Okay, 0 day. Then Thursday, no school. Yay. Again. And then Friday is your college t-shirt day, and we have some information and stuff and do a practice. And then you just have to come at 10:45. That's great. And then Mother's Day, don't forget mothers on that. And then Monday, you're off, and Tuesday we go. You say, well, why don't we go Monday? Well, one, it's cheaper to fly on Tuesdays, and it just works out great. We really like the schedule that we have. And then you say, well, why do we have to get there so early? Well, it's the flights we have, and it really works out well. And so we'll talk through that in just a minute. So remember the times. Look at the times. We're going to give you another one of these to put on your refrigerator or whatever it is you do. And so you can be at all these events, every practice. The only reason you wouldn't be at a practice is if somehow you've got another school event that you're going to have to miss. You're playing state golf or something. Okay, fine. Then we can't plan around all those things. But besides that, you need to be here. Well, what if I'm sick? Okay, you're sick. You can't be here. But apart from that, you need to be, okay? Any questions about schedule? Questions? All right, good. If you do have any, please let me know. Okay. Then we want to go to the page that's on the guidelines. And that'll be at different places. So seniors, you'll go past the itinerary, and parents, it's right there at the first somewhere. You'll see it, the guidelines. And that's one of the main reasons we're here today is to do that, to look at the guidelines. How is it? What's amazing to me when I look at the guidelines, it says 2018, and then what does it say? 42nd. 42 years in a row. Woo! I know. There's very few places around that has had 42 trips in a row. And it's God's blessing. I was telling somebody the other day, we really believe God called us to do this. It wasn't an accident that somehow Mr. Ralph Bullard went to Dallas and saw a book on a table and people thought he was interested. And then he went to Plymouth and all these things. All the events that happen for us, a school in Oklahoma taking this trip, what's the chances of that? Well, it's not. We think it's God's calling on us. And to be able to do it 42 years in a row is amazing. So praise the Lord for that. However, in 42 years, we've come up with all these guidelines. And most of them probably could have a year put by them, maybe, that somebody did something dumb, and we have to have a guideline. But in order for it to go, here's the thing. We really do believe it's God's calling for us. And since it's God's calling for us, it's God's calling for you. And that kind of makes it too good to mess up. It's too good to mess up. It's not too good because we do it or because anything. It's because God's called us to us. And because of that, we just need some guidelines and not mess this up. I've talked, every time I talk to somebody about their trip, if they have a trip anymore, which most schools don't, but when I talk to them, it's like, well, we can't do that because this happened, this huge problem, or this happened, and we can't go anymore, and all these things. And we don't want that. We think this is God's calling for us. So, and I'm not going to read all these things, but we really, I am very excited about this opportunity for you guys in lots of ways. For you to be able to see firsthand God's providential acts is really cool. In order for you to spend this time with your classmates is a blessing. For us to be able, the third thing there, for us to be able to be a witness. Believe me, you take 100 people somewhere, over 100, and people are going to notice. People ask questions like, how come you guys are here? Why this? How come all these things? And we get to be a witness. We get to be a witness at the hotels. We get to be a witness in the airports. All those things. And one of the reasons is it says Christian in our name. Then you don't have to really worry about who we are. So it does give a great opportunity to do that, and we'll talk about that more as we go. Okay, the guidelines. I will try not to be tedious, but we do want to go through them. Like I said, the trip has been really good. For 42 years, there's really not been that many incidents, and part of it is, one, just a great group of students like yourself and parents, and some good guidelines to follow. So again, I'm not going to read all these things. Most students take one suitcase. You got to do the 50-pound thing, remember? Don't get caught on that, but most do. You can take two, though. It's Southwest. They don't care. You have to clearly mark your luggage. Put tags on it with your name and all those things, because there's several times in the trip where we let the bus go on and unload the luggage without us. And so if that's the case, then it needs to be clearly tagged. Mr. Clay's going to give you some tags, and so we'll be able to see those things. And so, but even apart from that, it should be tagged. I was going to say probably most years, somebody loses something. Somebody loses, or they forget it. It's like, oh, I forgot my suitcase. I know where it is. It's back at the airport. Like, well, I hope you have good friends you can borrow stuff from. Because we just can't go back and get your suitcase, right? We have 100 people we're trying to get somewhere on time, so we're not trying to be mean or anything, but you need to keep up with your own stuff. And if you allow a porter to touch your luggage, they're not just being helpful. They want your money, okay? So they say, can I carry your bag for you? Sure. Thank you for that. You must be a Christian. They're not. They need your money. So if somebody touches your luggage, you need to pay them. And don't take knives, people. I know when boys go on trips, they want knives and fire. So, but just don't do either one of those things. No knives, no fire. That will get you in trouble very quickly. You say, why do you have to put that there? Because some people have done it. This one kid. And so he decides he's going to take a knife onto Old Ironsides. Well, of course, it's a federal thing, and so now he gets arrested, if you will, and they're all telling me to go over there and save him. It's like, no, he's the one that brought the knife. He knows. We've said several times, don't bring a knife. So anyway, I won't tell you the end of that story, but we did bring him back. Dress for air travel, you can wear activity dress with a CHA shirt, which that's kind of new, so yay for that. I know. This is a slippery slope. But that's nice. Let's see, behavior. There's no assigned seats on Southwest, so you're in good shape. Number 4. Well, let's see. Movies, this, again, usually not a problem on Southwest. If there is open seating, we still don't sit by our significant other. If you understand what that means. If you don't, please come and ask me. I really don't. I don't really care if you have a significant other. In fact, I'm glad for you. We've had numerous couples through the years that find each other somehow on the senior trip, and now they're married, and you may be even one of their children. I don't know. But I know it's like, oh, that's creepy to think about. But true. So, I don't know. It's salty air or something. I don't know. Different relationships. Somehow people look better. So, all that said, I don't really care if you have a significant other. I just don't want it to look like it. I don't want to know it. I don't want to be able to notice it. Okay? We've had people go on the trip and they got married after the trip. But I didn't know it. I couldn't tell that they were a couple. I don't want to tell that. Okay? So we don't do that. All right. Layovers, we're gonna treat you with a lot more freedom, perhaps, than we have before. But it's your responsibility to get back. I'm not going to go with you to go wherever. I don't know what airport we're going to, but wherever it is, Houston. Are we going to Houston? I think. But you got to get back. You say, well, you're not going to leave me, are you? Yes, we will. You got to get back. Okay? So, but that brings up a good place to say this rule, and this is probably the most important rule that we have, and that is we always stay in at least 3. It's always 3. Amen to that, because that's the Trinity and everything, and so I believe that's in the Bible. No, we're not doing that because of the Trinity, but it's a safety matter. Okay, we always go in 3s. You say, well, I have to take 2 people to go to the bathroom. Well, not necessarily. You're right there at the bathroom, but you're supposed to have 3 people. When you're walking around wherever, you're supposed to have 3 people. So if you go off somewhere, at least if we leave you, there'll be 2 other people that'll be with you. You can find your way back to Oklahoma City somehow with the other people. So 3s, and I know you say, well, I'm a loner. I don't have 2 friends. Well, then make 2 friends. Or you can go with Mr. Clay and I. That's a lot of fun. Maybe you need to make a friend. So 3s. Motels. Listen, number 1. And I know this perhaps isn't real flattering, but I put the little asterisks by rules that sometimes people seem to dismiss because they think they're dumb. And I understand that perhaps they are in your sight. I appreciate that. From your perspective, they may be dumb. But don't dismiss them. That one says you're never in the room housing the opposite sex. You don't ever go to the girls' room, the boys. You don't go there. You say, well, I had to go there. I had to go to get my shirt pressed for whatever. Well, then you still don't go in. I had to go because there's no because. There's no because. You say, yeah, but what about because? There's no becauses. So just don't, okay? And then it's easy to take care of at that point. Okay. You don't leave the hotel area without sponsor approval. Now, there'll be some times when we will give quite a bit of free time. In fact, we've been giving more and more free time through the years. And so, but still there'll be times that it's like you're supposed to be in the hotel. Yeah, but I need to go across the street to get some aspirin. No. Well, I have to go across the street because I have to get a drink because no. I have to go across the street because my mom asked me to. No. Not unless you ask one of us. Okay? It's not real safe, for one thing. You say, well, surely Plymouth is safe. Well, that would be nice if it were. And I won't tell you all the stories, and here's the thing. There's never been a story when people were in 3s. Never. But we've had people chased with knives and held up against the wall with a knife. We've had people beat up with a hockey stick. We've had all sorts of things happen like that. But they were never in 3s. It was always, I'm going to go to do this. And then somebody drives by and says, well, you're ugly. You know what the answer to that is? The answer is, yes, sir, I am ugly. Because I don't want to get in a fight with you. This is not the time. Okay? So, listen, there'll be plenty of times when you have freedom to leave the hotel or come back or this or that. And we'll go through some of that in a minute, and I'll show you those times. But other times, you can't be out. You can't be out, right? So that's simple enough. Let's see. Where are we? Okay, in-room time. In-room time, when we say in-room, what does that mean? Does that mean you're supposed to go get ice? Is that in your room? No. That's not in your room, all right? If it says that, that's what it means. So you're out. Well, I have to go get my washing. Washing? That sounds funny. Laundry? Laundry sounds better. No. You're in your room. So do that. You can always sleep in the floor in my room. It's always fun for people. So, because I'm just a fun person. So, if that's what you need to have happen, but let's don't do that. Nobody wants to do that in room. That's easy. Listen, HBO or whatever they have at the hotels, some of that stuff is straight pornography. Some of it is. And it'll be right there in front of you. But somebody in the room has to say no. Somebody's got to say no. It's wrong to do that, and you know it is. And we've talked about those things before. But the truth is, it's there. It's on the TV. One of the 3 or 4 of you in the room has to say no. We're not watching that. So please do that. Let's see. Any activities, number 9, offered by the hotel, like weight rooms and pools and all those things, those are, you need to ask to do that. You say, well, I have to do the weight room because I don't want to lose my buffness. And that's possible. And I know, I'm looking at this, I have to do that too. So, however, you need to ask, okay? 1, and on the pools, we haven't been swimming for a long time, so we're not planning on that at all. You say, well, I didn't know. I just told you. All right? So, no. Weight rooms and stuff, we're probably going to get permission to do that. That's not a big problem. But we need to ask and know about that. Plymouth, they don't have much of a weight room if I remember right. But the one in Boston does. Okay. Okay. Oh, we're not moving fast enough here. Room damage. Listen, 4 people can't bounce on a bed. I'm just saying. I've seen it. It breaks the bed. So you say, well, that hadn't happened. Yes, it has. Girls, in fact. Come on, girls. Outside your room, you are supposed to be fully clothed. Fully clothed means long shorts. Now, this is new for us too. We're trying this out. Because we've not ever done shorts. Well, maybe last year was first year. So, and it went pretty well. But what we're saying is long shorts mean long shorts to the knee shorts. You say, I don't have any of those. Well, then if you want to wear them, buy some. You say, well, all I have is the running shorts. That's not short. Long. They need to be long. All right? It's simple. If they're not right there at the knee, they're not long. I know some of the girls, you're saying, I don't even have those things. Well, then don't wear them. Wear sweats or something. Okay? But sweats are not pajamas. It's different. You know the difference, so don't wear pajamas out in the hallways. All right. Fully clothed. 10 p.m. Deadbolts. You got to lock stuff, people. Every year somebody leaves they leave the bolt out kind of, and then the door's open. People will steal stuff. Have you not ever seen those shows that people steal stuff? So keep your doors locked. It's only smart. If the weight room is used, you need to, again, wear long shorts. And I know some of you, the only workout clothes you have is your spandex or whatever. Do they call it spandex now? I don't know. Spanx, something. Spanx, is that good? No, that's not good either. Listen, don't wear that. He said, well, that's what I work out in. I don't care. Wear long shorts. All right. Buses. We have 3 bus assignments. Some of your people made those, and we will stick with that. You say, well, I don't want to be on that bus. You can talk with me. I'll always listen. So you can ask me, but we're probably not changing those things. Money. Food's expensive. And I know I've said this before, but food's really expensive. And I know you can't kind of understand that, but it's like the dollar meal costs $4. So I don't know, and I made that up, but it's expensive. And if you've ever been there in that part of the country, you just have to know that it costs a lot. And again, it makes a difference whether you're buying lobsters or whether you're buying a piece of pizza, but it's still expensive. So you just need to go prepared for that. And you say, well, can I take my credit card or these things? It's like, yes, you can, but you probably need cash also, but you need to be careful with it. Almost every year, somebody loses their money. So just be careful with it. And you probably, a lot of times, well, I say a lot of times, sometimes you need cash at the Italian district. A lot of them will have cards. It's like no cards or whatever. Okay, take cash. Okay. Baseball. This sounds ridiculous, but one year, it was 3 or 4 years ago, we passed out all the baseball tickets. And less than a mile down the road, 7 people had lost their tickets. 7. Hey, they're $60 a piece. How do you lose your ticket? I don't know. But if you lose it, you got to buy it. So please, if we give you something like that, and especially like your subway pass or something, don't use it and throw it down. It's good for all week. It's like, oh, done. No, I'm doing that. Okay, we'll pass that. Money. How much spending money's enough? I don't know. People have went with no spending money because they didn't have any money. All right, that may be you. I don't know. And some people have taken hundreds of dollars. That's just up to you. But it does make sense. And if you're smart, you'll decide beforehand who you need to buy for. I have to get something for Aunt Susie and Uncle Billy, and I've got to get something for my nephew Gertrude or whatever her name is. I've got to do that. So, and I'm going to buy them shirts, and I'm going to buy them at Provincetown where I can get them for $5. So anyway, so just plan that out ahead of time so you'll know. Okay, money, restaurants. You always had 20%. Whatever it says, you add 20% because they have 5% tax and then 15% for the tip. So you always just have to know that. And it's getting better and better, but still a lot of places they won't make the bill individual, although it is better now. But you just have to know that and be aware of that. You're courteous. I don't care if they're not courteous. We're courteous. Meals. Most of the meals are eaten on your own time, which you just need to know that you have to get back. I got to get back. I've got a meeting. Maybe you need to ask the waitress. It's like, hey, can I eat here? I got to be so-and-so at this time. They'll let you know that. But that, again, that's your deal. Non-alcoholic beverages that give the appearance of alcoholic beverages. We don't buy those. The things with little umbrellas and all that. there's nothing wrong with them, and I appreciate that, and I may drink one myself. But we're not in this group, okay? We're not doing it on this group together. So just stay away from that sort of thing. And we stay away from restaurants that have names that they shouldn't have. Don't go in there. If it has a name that sounds like a name it shouldn't have, that probably means you shouldn't go in there. And if you have a question about that, you can ask me. Okay. Tours. Mr. Clay and Dr. DeMoss and Mr. Ferguson and myself will try to give most all the tours because we don't want you to be bored. We want to get them through quickly and say what we want to say. But sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes it's a park ranger or something that has to do them. And you will be courteous and listen and stay standing up unless they ask you to sit down and all those things. And we don't climb on monuments. If a monument is to be climbed upon, it'll say that. Please climb on me. You say, well, why are you saying that? Because the police don't like it. I've been asked several times, you have to get your students off of the monument. It's like, okay. We are still a little bit up in the air on the coat and tie thing, so we will get back to you on that. Weather, the weather it's cold sometimes, really cold. And I know maybe you can believe that after the weather we've had here recently. And so you need to bring clothes accordingly. But it can also be really hot. So layers is the best thing. Comfortable shoes. Don't bring new shoes, people. That's dumb. There's a lot of walking. I don't know how much walking. The walking's never bothered me, but it bothers some people for some reason. So wear comfortable shoes. Regular. When we go to the Pops, ladies, your dresses have to meet the dress code standards. You may be staying on like the 34th floor or something, and if you come downstairs and you're not dressed right now, you got to go back up and get back down. And besides, Dr. DeMoss is going to take care of all that. So, exactly, before you come down even. Exactly. So just don't bring those things, or bring those lace things that make them longer. Something. We just don't deal with that. Okay. Guys, we stay shaved. I know. It's rough. All right, your life is rough. Washing clothes is just not smart. In fact, just don't. Don't. You say, well, I don't have enough pants. Well, then buy a pair or something. And nobody cares if you wear the same pair. No, it's just not a fashion show. And we're not really like getting them dirty. It's not like we're working in a garden or something. So just don't plan to wash. Take enough stuff that you don't. Because we're usually going all the time. It's not like we're spending a bunch of time at the hotel. It's like we're taking this trip. We're not going to spend bunch of time at the hotel. So if you do want it to wash, then you got 45 minutes to do that, and then another 45 minutes to dry, and you don't have that kind of time, okay? So just don't plan on washing stuff. It's just not a good idea. Itinerary, schedules. Know where you're going. Number 4, here's the thing, and I know I probably shouldn't say this with parents here, but I don't count people. I don't count people. Now, so when you're on the subway or things like that, you need to be on there. You need to be with us and know where you're going. And for some of you, it's not a problem. You've been to big cities and you've done all these things. And some of you will be frightened with all these thousands of people perhaps trying to get on this one little subway car. But kind of know the next place, ask somebody and they'll let you know, and just stay with the group. And if you do get lost, then you get the privilege of walking around the rest of the trip with me. You say, oh, that sounds like fun to be lost. But it's not fun when you have to walk around with me all the time. So please don't do that. All right. Number 5, it says never go in groups of less than 3. We've already hit that, but it's important. Again, all these years I've been going on the trip, I've never had something bad happen. Just don't be stupid on that. Stay in groups of 3. Okay. Number 7, you really have to, and this is mainly for girls, but you got to really be careful about talking to guys you don't know. And we've had girls do the dumbest things, like giving people your hotel room number. It's like, come on. But people have done that. Come on. Don't be dumb. Just have to be careful. You certainly should be friendly and all that. And here's what I try to say this every year. For you guys, I don't know what the thing is, but you're really a lot prettier than their girls. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying. So I'm being honest. You just have to be careful. And guys, it's your position too to help with that, and not let something happen. All right. Relations. All adults are to be respected. If you have parents, there could be parents along the trip that you don't really get along with. And you don't care. You still need to respect them. And if there's a concern, you let me know. And we can deal with that. Again, we don't. So we have a 3 rule. So that means 2 couples. No, that doesn't mean 2 couples. Okay. So we don't do the whole couple thing. Listen, if you're upset about something, just let me know. I'll be glad to listen. But you're complaining or griping about the thing really doesn't help. In fact, it just hurts other people's trip. And I didn't say it a while ago, and that's always fun. It's like, a while ago? Is that a word? But if you have money problems, let me know. I can help you. Okay? If that's a concern, let me know. We'll be glad to help with that. Devotions, you'll know when those are. We really don't have very many anymore. It's very expensive to get rooms. And so, but we will have a few. And please show up and show up on time and not with your breakfast. Okay? Don't bring breakfast there. And if you have a medical problem, let me know. We should know that. You say, well, I'm supposed to eat every, 4 hours or something. There's sometimes we're not, because we're busy doing something. We're not eating. And then you pass out and you say, well, I was supposed to have food. It's like, tell me these things. We'll bring, granola bars or something. I have yet, there's been a couple of times, if I could have found someone, I would have sent them home. But at this point, I've not sent anybody home. But I will. I will. Because like I began this little talk with, the trip that God's given us is too good to mess up. So if you're going to make the choice to sneak out at night and go somewhere, you can do that at home. So don't. It's easy, just don't. So, all right? Okay. This next letter, this is a letter to your parents, and because I want them to know that we are allowing you free time. There's free time. And you are unsupervised, and it's free. So, there'll be guidelines. There'll be places you're supposed to go or not go and those sorts of things. But, again, I want parents to know that. And for you, because at that point, you could choose to do something you shouldn't do. Please don't. Again, don't. It's too good to mess up. But if I put down there, if it's okay if your parents say it's okay for you to use a Uber or something, okay, fine. I'm not real sure why you'd need to, although some people have in the past. But that should be a parent decision. I don't know when you'd need to even, but if that should be something your parents say, yeah, that's okay for you to do. But I really, we want to give you the freedom. We think you deserve that even at this point. And but make good choices. There are shopping and eating tips, in which that sounds kind of cheesy, I know. Get it? Cheesy. But, sorry. Thank you. But if that's, let me read these things. Last year, Dr. DeMoss did a great job and asked the seniors for some input on the trip. So let me read you what they said. Pack more than one pair of pants. It's really hard to wash. I just told you that. Take stuff to be both hot and cold because it's hard to wear long sleeves when it's 90 degrees. I just told you that. Plan to spend approximately $80 per day on food. Like, that's a lot. I don't know. I'm just reading what they said. You should have money for the waiters. Comfortable shoes. Enjoy each day. Take a notebook and pen. We'll talk more about that later. Read all the information that you're given. I'm just reading you what last year's senior said. Leave room in your suitcase for souvenirs. Keep a good journal because it's worth it. Be prepared to walk and find good places to eat before you go. Start getting ready the beginning of the year. Okay, too late. Don't wait until a month before to get your body ready. All right, I'm just reading it right here. Study a subway map. Perhaps download the subway app. Helpful apps for locating nearby restaurants. Zomato and tvfoodmaps.com. Bring sunscreen, which you don't think that that's the case, but when you're out in the sun all day, walking, doing this and that, you need sunscreen. Every year I get burned. My bald spot burns every year. They should make something for that. I don't know. During free time, take time to walk. It's work to see the great buildings. Be ready to do some walking. Pack light and have fun. Walk and walk stairs to prepare your body. We kind of have a theme here. Be prepared to get absolutely no sleep. Sleep on the plane. Start walking before the trip. Boston in May brings many different kinds of weather. Experience so packing, and for that's important. Wear comfortable shoes and bring an umbrella. The whale watch is really cold. Get some sleep. So, all those are, well, most of those are pretty good things to remember. And so, the types of clothing is a good idea. The walking, I don't know. It's never bothered me, but somebody who uses those little pedometer things says that it's like 60-something miles. I don't know. But that's the whole time, so that's not that much. Right? So that's not too bad. Okay, shopping and eating tips. We were on that. You can look at that yourself. I won't. The breakfast thing. A lot of people just bring up a granola bar or something. They get a little more sleep. Okay, free time suggestions. There's also some free time suggestions. They're not in this group, this packet, but I will give those to you later. And what I would suggest, I'll talk to you about that later. Okay, we're also, Lord willing, are getting these. I know, they're cool. I know, you look like a tourist. So, but because you just can't hear. You can't hear. One, my voice is bad. Two, more than that, you just can't hear. And so we're going to make the investment, which is several thousands of dollars, to buy these. And you can bring your own earbud things and use them. So, and then you can hear what's being said. And hopefully that's a good thing for you. So again, I said Lord willing because we haven't purchased them, but they should be here soon. So, okay. I forget what time you get out. 30? 25? Oh. Questions, student questions, or adult questions, although we'll have an adult meeting here in just a minute. Student questions? Yes, sir. I'm very excited. I love going. And I'll tell you why later. I get so excited, but I'm very excited for the trip. One, I love being with you guys, and I just love having fun. And the trip, the Lord really, it's a great trip. 42 years of this, and students still really enjoy it. And we want to do, at CHA, we think we do a lot of things really good. We do. Not all perfect or anything, but we want to do two things really well. And that's the senior trip and graduation. We want to do those things really well. And God has allowed us to do that. And so I am very excited about going. And I'm going to start running stairs. No, not really. I am going to think about exercising several times a week, but that's as far as it'll go. So, but I'm going to think about it. Other questions? Okay, if indeed some rule just seems completely ridiculous to you, please come and ask. Okay, just ask. I don't mind. I'm not intimidated by that or think you're a bad person or something, and hopefully I can explain it. Because if there's no good explanation, maybe we need to change it. If that's the case, but don't let any of those things hinder your trip. Enjoy it very much, okay? We really want you to enjoy it. Now, there's some things that we're going to do. We're going to do them. But through the years, there's a lot of things that we've cut out, too. We just don't do them anymore. You say, well, why not? Because the students really don't like it. I kind of thought they might, but they really didn't, so we just don't do it. There's other things that you may not enjoy greatly, but we're going to do them. Because here's the thing. The main focus of the trip is really for you to understand at a deeper level that God has a plan for men and for nations, and He's working that out. And more importantly, He has a plan for you. And you're getting to go off after that into the world. Don't depart from God's plan for you. And so we want to do a lot of fun things and enjoy all that, but we want to get that too. So if I could tell you any one thing to get ready, it wouldn't be walking. It would be to get yourself right with the Lord and others in this class. If you have problems with somebody, get it fixed. And you'll enjoy the trip. Did you need to talk about their ones? We do, yeah, we do that later. So don't lose Dr. DeMoss's tips. Those are great. And they're on a suitcase. Very nice. So don't lose those, because we're going to go over those at some point and talk about some things even more specifically. And don't lose those packets. That's why it has holes in it. You can put it in your notebook and use that. Okay? Questions? All right. So you may go to class. Thank you. I'm not sure how it happened, but I kind of get to be the face of the trip. But they're the ones who really do all the work. So, Mr. Clay especially. And really appreciate him for sure. And Dr. Moss, they both do a lot. It's obvious why I'm the pretty face of the trip. But besides that, okay, we want to go we're really glad you're coming. We really are. We love having parents come on the trip. I was going to say it's always been the case. It's not always been the case. It started at some point through the years, and we have enjoyed it. And we want you to have a great time. So that's why we do this little book, and I want to go through it just really quickly, and then make a couple of statements. So, can we keep track? If you just go on the next page, I really do not count, and if you've ever been on a trip, you know that. But Mr. Clay tries to keep up with us, and these, now, I'm not sure how Matt ended up in charge of how did Matt end up in charge of a group? Well, I thought we put, there are. We might need to redo it. Usually we have parents with parents and students with students. So I have trouble keeping secretaries. So some of these are my fault, but we can work on that. But so at some point when we're out at the Red Sox game, and there's 100 of us, and there's thousands of other people, we'll say, get in your groups. And then you'll get in Matt's group, and Matt will say, okay, we're all here. And then we'll go. So it's just that fast way of keeping track. Now, I'll check those groups. The bus assignments have been made. And again, if that's a concern, the students made them. So if there's a concern, let me know. We can still fix all these things. And then there's a trip. Who's all going on the trip? And no. They don't have to sit in any certain place. So they can sit wherever they want on the bus. The bus is really, we ended up with 115, I think. So we have 3 buses. There's lots of room. So that's not shouldn't be a problem at all. Typically, the students sit in the back and the adults sit in the front. But you don't have to. Okay. Then the itinerary. And the itinerary certainly is very detailed. And we do that for a reason, mainly for my reason, to kind of keep the trip moving. However, it changes. It changes. And this is a suggestion. And then weather makes it change, and something's closed, and all these things. But we will keep you as informed as possible. And Dr. DeMoss, techie as she is, will do the remind thing. And so we'll get you set up on that, and she'll send out all this stuff. And you will know what you're doing and when to go and when to be there and all those things. So it will be very helpful. Now, we will also pass out little itineraries so you can carry them in your pocket or your purse or whatever if you want to, and not carry this book, and kind of keep up with what's happening. All right. And you say, well, I've been on the trip before, and I really would like to, do this or that. It's like, I'm okay with that. And that's not a problem. We don't try to keep up with the adults necessarily. However, we also don't want to leave you somewhere. So if you're going to be, which I've left parents places, but so if you want to do something else, you need to go shopping here, or you want to go check out that. I am so okay with that. That is not a problem. Just let one of us know. Let one of the 4 main sponsors, Mr. Clay, Dr. DeMoss, myself, and Mr. Ferguson, know, and then we're good. Or you could even tell your, no, it's better to tell one of us. That's just better. And you'll have our cell phone numbers and all those things so that if you need to call, you can do that. But please feel free to do those things, because I know some of you have been before and you might want to go see something else. That's great. And while I'm there, though, we want the students to do everything. So what I'm saying with that is you want to take your son or daughter and go off for the day. We don't really want that. We want them to participate in all that we're doing. We just think it's good. And you say, well, they don't want to go bowling. Okay, but we're going bowling. And or they would rather not go. It's like, yeah, well, we are. You say, well, they just can't go on the well-washed bus. That'd be interesting. Boat, because okay, if there's a reason, okay, I can appreciate that. But besides that, the students all do everything. Now, you certainly don't have to yourself, but that's what we would like to do. Now, we have had, of course, a parent say, hey, my brother lives over in, Concord, and we're going to meet him. It's like, okay, fine. That's fine. Just ask, and we'll help you with that. So you can look through the itinerary. I'm not going to go through all that at this point. I will say, and I was teasing about the walking and all that, but people do say it's a lot. And some of you have been. I don't know. Is it that bad? Is that bad? No. It's not that bad. But it is. It is for some people who haven't walked at all. So I would suggest good shoes. And please ask me a question. If you have questions. All right. Please ask. All right. Next thing. The only meal we eat together is the one on the second day at the Lobster Pot. That's the only one that we eat together. And it is expensive. It is. And almost every place you go is expensive. And it takes a long time. Almost everywhere you go, seems to. There's a bus itinerary in there. I don't think you care to know that. There's the devotions. Then there's the eating and shopping tips. And probably you're going to pay more attention to that than the students are. But if it just tells you some things that are happening during the day and where you can get this or that, and some things in Provincetown, you really don't want to go to one of those shops. Well, you could. There's a schooner inside a library. It's amazing. Or you can walk out on the pier or something. So there's some suggestions of things in there, as well as some shopping and eating things. Breakfast, people really do. There's not a lot of places right there at the Plymouth 1620. There's a restaurant inside the hotel, which again is expensive, but which really sounds bad. But the best place is around the corner at the gas station. There's a Dunkin' Donuts in there, and that's kind of the best place to eat. But there's several places listed on there, and you can see them, but there's not in Plymouth. So if that's you and you just want some more sleep or whatever, you can, like I said, bring some granola bars or something, or eat chips out of the machine. They have them that taste like gravy. It's amazing. It's like, why would you do that? But there is a lot of people go to. It's a classic place at Well, you can see the breakfast places there. Oh, I don't have page numbers on this, but on the second page, Wednesday, the All-American, people go there because it's just fun. And if you can eat what is it? It's a George Washington. Has anybody ever ate one? No, too hard. Eat a Martha, though. The Martha's pretty good. You can handle that. But if you eat a George, you're probably going to throw up afterwards. But a lot of the kids do it just because we say it. Like, you can't do this. I guess we can. That's all part of the fun. Okay, let's see. Then we are spending, we normally spend 4 nights in Plymouth and 4 nights in Boston. The hotel couldn't do that for us this year, and in fact, I just got rooms for 2020 the other day. So we booked quite a ways out, but we couldn't get it. And so we're just spending 3 nights in Plymouth and then 5 nights in Boston. But that's one of the reasons it's a little more expensive, because the rooms are triple the cost. But there's some better breakfast choices there in Boston, of course, and you can see those. The other meals, you can do as little or great as you like. I mean, there's so many restaurants around. It's just incredible. Okay. Questions about that? Questions about the itinerary? Yes. Yes. No. No, yeah, that's your go big. That's go big. And it says 45, but it doesn't really mean that. We just say that so students will order like 3 things or something. Buy what you want. Get an appetizer and get a meal and get a dessert. And it's going to go over that, believe me. But you say, well, that sounds like a lot. It's like, it is. But it's really cool. It's an experience. It's not just a meal. It's a show, and it's an experience. And it's really good. So we always want to do a typical, not typical, but I don't know what you'd call it, New England meal. And so through the years, we've had different places, but this it's a good one. So always great service. And you'll enjoy it. But, again, go big. You say, I don't do fish. It's like, do fish. Even if you don't. Then get it. Then try it. Go big. Yeah, if you haven't had lobster, get it. You order some fish. I don't know. I'm not much of a fish person either. But still, I always get fish. Some blackened, I don't know, something or other is always good. So, yeah, but yeah, get the lobster. Try it. You say, well, it's expensive. You paid for it. It's going to go over the 45. You paid for it. So you don't have to worry about it. Now, again, don't go crazy. And the desserts are great. At the end, though, we'll say, hey, if you want to go, you can go, or you can stay and get a dessert. The town is just it's a tourist trap. It's a tourist trap. But if you like that sort of thing, it's all right. But some people linger a little while and enjoy their dessert while others go shopping, which would be great. Yeah, they have some blackened barbecue shrimp that I love. No, it's a different taste. Yeah. Now the best thing about lobster is the butter. You just have to put it in the butter. So you're eating butter. It's kind of what it tastes like. What's wrong with that? No. Yeah. So, and we tell the students, like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. I'm scared. It's like, try it. Try it. This is your time to try it. You say, well, I might be hungry, but then eat a dessert. So you won't be hungry, believe me. Because then they have salad and they have bread. And it's crazy. But we love it. Other questions about itinerary? Yes, sir. Well, you certainly can. And, that's not. Exactly, yeah. Right. Yeah. I got to check in. It's like, you're not there. But yes, no, that's not a problem at all. And even the students, we've kind of relaxed some on that too, because it's part of us now at this point. So we've relaxed some things, and we'll talk to them more specifically about that. But because a lot of times, it's put the pictures here, and all these things. So, but yes. Okay. Parent responsibilities. Are you on that page? We want to do everything possible to make this an enjoyable trip for you. That's my heart. We were talking the other day. What can we do to make this a better experience for the parents? What can we do to make this a better experience for the students? We want that, really. However, it's a kid trip. It has to remain a kid trip. It's a senior trip. So it's not designed for parents. Now, are you not going to enjoy it? Well, of course you're going to enjoy it. However, there are some times that you may need to hurry something up a bit, which usually that takes, it looks like gift shops. Are students going to spend any time in gift shops? Almost none. However, you will. So, if that's the case, you just need to get your stuff and get out of there. Because it's a kid trip. And we need to keep it flowing. We have things that we really want the students to grasp and put it in a package that they enjoy, so that they can, well, one, enjoy the trip, and two, get the message. And so and again, we love having parents, and it's almost never been a problem at all. But you might need to get out of a gift shop. Or how much time does a student spend in a museum? Not much. Most of them don't read everything that's on there. And so we're going to go to museums and stuff, but we're not going to spend great amounts of time there. Not enough time really for you. Most of you anyway. So you just need to know that, and just know that that's going to happen. And but again, the parents, they've enjoyed the trip through the years, and that's what we've always tried to do. And I think we'll be able to do that this year too. So, but your responsibilities, if the groups are split, is just keep people moving. Because sometimes they're split into really small groups. And if you're in there, you can, and ask questions, because the students a lot of times won't. But if you'll ask good questions, they benefit from that. So that's a really good thing, especially, well, in a museum or at Plymouth Plantation and some places like that. The students really won't, as much as we tell them, they won't enter into that. But that you can help by doing that. You can help by being a good role model, being on time. And I don't know if we're going to have tracks this year or not. We have in the past, but I haven't checked on that. We are. Yes. Dr. Moss says yes, we are going to have them. So that's something we're going to talk about with the students. And it's another way, because again, when we're 115 people, we're noticed. Like, what's this crowd doing? And here, let me tell you about that. And so Dr. Moss might speak to that in just a minute. Remain positive. Okay. Be an encourager. Sometimes the students, no matter what we tell them, won't sleep. Most of them. Which if I was them, maybe I wouldn't either. So they get tired until 11 at night, and then they're back awake again. So, but anyway, so encouraging them to do this or do that and enjoy it. It will be a good thing that you can do. Although it seems like it's a little more, people sleep more than they used to. I don't know what that is, but they seem to. What to wear, we really, we don't necessarily tell you you can wear this or that. Now, what we suggest is you wear the same dress code as the students, just because it's encouraging to them that you're wearing the same things they wear. So, again, are we going to tell you, no, you can't wear that? Well, I guess if it was offensive or something. But for the most part, no. I mean, we've had people come and wear shorts. It's like, okay. But typically what we'd like for you to do is wear the same kind of dress code that the kids have. Again, it's just encouraging for them. And I think Dr. Moss has something to say about that, too, in a minute. Be on time. No alcohol. I don't think alcohol is wrong. I'm not saying that, but we just don't do it on the trip. I'm not judging anybody at all. I don't think it's wrong, but we just don't do it on the trip. So, come to devotions. Again, we don't have very many, but the ones we do have, it's really positive when we've got the adults there and they're on time. Don't care what you video. When really we don't do much sharing stuff except for the breakfast time, so that's not a problem. Student misconduct, if you see that, you can certainly talk to them. That's not a problem. But you probably need to tell one of us at some point. So if there's something they just shouldn't do, and don't try to physically stop somebody from something. That's a great way to get in trouble these days. So if there is something going on and you see that, certainly let one of us know and we'll take care of it as quick as possible. Your own children, just, again, if they need to leave the premises for something and they're going to go with you or whatever, just let us know. That's fine. But we do want them to be a part of everything. Number 11, they're going to ask for, they want pizza in their rooms. The hotels have asked us specifically, don't do that. Now, however, room 495 can order pizza. They don't really care, and they're not going to stop that. However, they don't want us bringing in 10 pizzas and having a party. So they've asked, don't do that. If you want to do that, eat our pizza, which is always terrible. Tried it, it's terrible. So it's like, we can do that? It's like, ugh. That's not pizza. So again, I'm not saying you can't bring pizza to your kid's room. It just can't be for everybody. And then we have, if it happens, hopefully it happens, if the Thunder's still playing, we have Thunder rules. And so there'll be different rules at that time because they don't play till like 11:30 or something, seems like. So, but we'll have rules for those things, but we let the students watch that and have fun with that. Okay. Number 13, I really is true. If you see something, because I get all wrapped up. I mean, I get wrapped up. And so sometimes I'm not paying good attention to things that probably I might need to pay attention to. And I really don't mind you saying something. So if it's like, hey, did you know that this or that? That's great. In fact, that's good. That's good for me because I will just get going and not see things. So please feel free to say something. Number 15, please pray. Pray that that the Lord would allow them to receive everything that He has for them. Number 16, there's some things there that if you, this and another thing that we just really don't do, and that's spend enough time at the places we go. You say, well, why don't you? Because the kids know these things. You may not. If it's your first time, you may not ever heard any of these things. And so we won't spend enough time to give the whole story, perhaps. So, but if you want the whole story, my cards are all, you can get them all. It's a lot of paper, but you can get You can get all those cards and read them. Because what I do is I have it all on cards, and then I try to read the card before I do, and then I don't try to use the cards. It's just what I remember. Well, I'm not going to remember everything on the card. But if you want those, you certainly can have them before or after the trip. It's on the computer. They're not really in good order, but you can still have them. And besides that, these things are really good. The Light and the Glory, those chapters that are mentioned, that's a book you can get. I think we even have some copies here at school. The parent packet that you have has several things in it. Has some articles from Mr. Ferguson that he wrote, which are really, really good. He's a great writer. And there's a timeline which explains a lot of the history, just really, really short. And you can look at that. And the DVD Monumental, if you've not seen that, you should. That is a really great DVD. And if you want, I can get you a copy of that too. And then there's a Drive-Through History, if you've never seen that's a great series. And the Truth Project. So there are a lot of things there. If you want to look at those, you certainly can. Okay. We have some copies of that. And I don't know besides that because I don't think it's on YouTube. Have them at the library? I don't know. They might. It's a Christian thing, but it's kind of contemporary, and the guy's really fun, and it's good though. They do a really good job with it. There's one also they do one on Christ, and then they do one on American history, and they've done really well. But we have a set, I think. If we don't, we can get one. The free time suggestions, the one in your book is just not the right one, but I will get you the right one. But still, it has a lot of the places. And again, there is some free time that the students will have. And I suggest you look and you see things that you might want to do. And, because there's so many things to do there that you pick it out. And of course, you can look at it online, and all those things will come up, and you can see that maybe I would like to walk around Beacon Hill. That looks interesting to me. Or I would like to go to the State House, or any of these things that are. The Tea Party ship is really cool. But it costs about $25 to do it, and that's on the other sheet that I will give you. There's several inserts that go inside inside your packet that are not in there. There's a map of Plymouth. There's a map of Boston. There's a map of the Freedom Trail. There's a map of the Black Heritage Trail. There's this free time suggestion. Anyway, there's several things that you'll have inside. We'll give you, and we're not planning on redoing this unless we just find a lot of mistakes or change a lot of things. But we'll send those to you. The Boston the subway app there really works well. It doesn't work real well here because it doesn't have your locator. It always says we don't know where you are. But it's if that's something you'd like to do, it's the subway. It's not. If you've been in big cities, it's not a complex one. But it can be, for people who haven't done it, it could be a little scary. But we'll always let you know where we're going. Okay. Dr. DeMoss. Sorry, I forgot. Come on down. There's bowling teams, and you can see you're on a team, and that's very, very carefully done. Your student is usually in the middle, and the parents on the outsides. Nicely done. So it's all. But you say, well, I don't want to. Well, you don't have to, of course. But it's a little bitty ball. It's not like real bowling. So it's a lot of fun. And then there's the timeline, and I don't know what's in there. But Dr. Moss has some suggestions.
I don't know that I need this. about like just carrying your bags, and I think that's for the girls too. I really just encouraging. I'll send a packing list out to the kids. I've learned that just they overpack, and I sometimes try to do that too. And you just don't know what to expect, but no one's looking at your clothes. I know that you don't believe that, and probably you need 2 pairs of pants, not one, in case one gets dirty. But you really don't need more than that. I'll wear the same pair of pants 4 days in a row. And I said, nobody's looking at me, and I'm not looking at you in that, right? And I wear a pair of Chacos. That's what I enjoy wearing because they can get wet, and then they can dry off. That's my personal choice, but tennis shoes, but just wearing good shoes. Just remembering that, just that ease in the leg. And I know sometimes moms, I really have appreciated the spirit of the moms that have been on the trip. It's, do we really need to wear the same clothes as the girls? And I think it's just one of those things of just saying, where it is possible, we will. Just because the girls are wearing those, and just the modesty idea. And it really has been a blessing that the moms have followed the dress code of the girls through the years. It really has. A tremendous gift to them. It does rain, and I know it sounds crazy, but I take 1 suitcase of candy. The entire 50 pounds is candy, and I take it to the rooms every night. My other suitcase I pack, and the bulkiest thing is rain boots. And I bought a nice pair of rain boots a couple of years ago. It was the best investment I made. And in fact, I was just in Boston 2 weeks ago, and I wore the rain boots every single day. Out there, I just put them on. So having something you can walk on that you're, because your pants, if it does rain. I hope it doesn't. We're praying it doesn't. But, then they drag the ground, and then they get kind of yucky. And so if you can kind of get them up in there. And so rain boots are really a big deal, and a collapsible umbrella and poncho and things like that, just in case you can carry it in your backpack. And a backpack is a great tool, all right, just to be able to carry something with all your gear. And I hope that you will bring a journal. I know he's talked about that, and the kids will have a journal, and sometimes the kids will use their phone to journal and then go back and write it in their book. But I have found through the years that parents go, I wish I had a journal. I wish I had taken notes, because there's so many things that Mr. Holmes and Mr. Clay are going to share that you're like, where was I in school? I've never heard this before. And I know for the Yosts that have gone before, and other families, the Davidsons that have gone, the Biggs have gone perhaps, that every time I go, is this your first time? Oh, you're going to love it. And the Currys have gone, every time I go, I do a new journal. I have 8, I think this is 7 times I've gone, that I have another journal. And I learn something every time. And even though I can begin to write more things because I know it, there's still something else that he tells, because his knowledge of this is so vast that I go, wow, I don't remember that, or that's good to know. Just how cold it is. On that whale watch, gloves, a hat that comes down over your ears, a scarf, and layering is the key. I will just, have a short sleeves, CHA shirt on, but then I will have a sweater like this, and then I have my little zip-up hoodie on. You know what I'm saying? And that's my normal attire every day. And depends on, in the morning it's cold, and then I start shedding one layer, and then I shed another layer, and I just keep pushing them in the backpack, and then I go, okay, here we are. And then at night I pull out one layer, and it's like I morph through the whole day like this. And just layering is a big deal. But that whale watch is so very, very cold. And Dramamine, if you can bring Dramamine and Band-Aids, and I have some of those things too, so I want you to know. And that's one thing, if you know a kid is sick, if you'll bring them to me. I'm kind of the mom on the trip. Mr. Holmes is not going to mess with that, nor is Mr. Clay. But if there's somebody that's sick, if you'll bring them to me, because we've been on trips where there's moms that were doctors, and moms that were just really concerned and loving the kids. But what we found was happening is we'd have 5 moms calling back home to the mom that couldn't go, and then I'm calling, and the mom's kind of stressed out because everybody's calling. So I just say, I love that all these mamas are going on the trip, and I need you to be there to love on kids. But if you see a kid that's sick, a girl or a boy, if you could come find me, and then I can just call home to the mama, okay? Or I have the medicine and things, and if there's the doctor on the trip says we need to go get it, and that's happened before. Dr. Penwell, I think Dr. Yost told me one year, you need to go buy this. I went and bought it. but then I just buy it out for the kids. Okay, so just wondering, how do you help a kid that's sick? Just at the Boston Pops, just dressing up. I know we have a ways to go, so people always ask me, do you wear heels? What does that really look like? I mean, you just wear some shoes that you're comfortable in, all right? It is nicer, and I do wear heels, but just wear something that you can keep up with, because he goes at a pretty quick clip. Just some things about postcards and where I've found over the years is the best place to buy postcards. I will tell you that my favorite place to shop on the trip is Cuffy's. It's in Provincetown, and I think it's kind of like a Life is Good store. I think it's got great quality, and it's really inexpensive comparatively, you know, for what you have. And I've never found them to fade. I've never found them to shrink. And so that's just something, if you're looking at where do I buy, there's always places to buy. Plymouth Plantation is another place that's really nice, and just keeping together. I think just staying close, asking the kids to stay close. I always say, scoochie, scoochie, and everybody kind of gets in close to hear them. I'm really excited about the microphones. I think that's going to be a gift. And I will bring tracts. There is a cult in Plymouth that the Lord has laid on my heart to pray for ever since I've been there. And just praying for them, opportunities to share the Lord. And so if that's something that you desire, I'll have tracts as well. Okay, any questions?
Thank you very much. Like I said, Mr. Clay and Dr. DeMoss do more of the work than I do, and very helpful. So, any questions? I'm done. Yes, ma'am. Yes, almost everywhere. There's a couple of places where they won't let you take your backpacks, but they always have a place for you to put them. But not very many. Almost every place you can carry them. So, yes. Really? We did. We had a banquet to end the trip, which is very nice, but we've stopped because they wanted $2,000 for the room, and then we had the bus cost. Anyway, it costs too much to do it. So, and we're not going to church this time, so we really only have the one dress up, and that's the Pops. Yes. Which really we don't like that. The kids actually like to dress up. They enjoy that, so I kind of hate not having the wayside in at the end, but it's where we are now. So the only thing we'll have at the end, I'm sorry, the only thing we have at the end, we do have a little meeting that will end the thing there at the Sheridan, but it's not really we'll do that right before we go to the Pops, but it'll kind of close it out. So, yes. We are, yes, we're hoping to do that because we had to get an earlier flight out, and now we've always done a senior breakfast. Well, not always, but we started it, but now we're not exactly sure how we're going to do that. So, but we will. We're going to do something. We're going to try to do something. We've really liked and I know it's probably not best for parents, but the going and then getting back the day before graduation, we've liked it. We didn't think we would. And I'm sure it's probably not best for some of you who has family coming in and stuff. But for the students, it's worked really nice. So. Okay, well, if you have any questions, any concerns, whatever, please let me know. I don't mind answering any of those things, and we'll be glad to do that. And then we'll get you whatever other information that you need before the trip. And we're really looking forward to it. And you say, well, you've gone so many times. It's like, I love every time. So really looking forward to it, and I hope you do too. Okay? Thank you very much.